What's up, Throttlers? Aristotle Full Throttle here, and today I'm going to review Arrival. Not the 1996 one with Charlie Sheen, the new one with Lois Lane, and Hawkeye, and Popeye. That was mean, I'm sorry. Forrest Whitaker, I got much love and respect for you. Here's looking at you. Sorry, again. Arrival's about a woman who is a college professor. She happens to be a linguist. She can understand all these sorts of languages. And in the beginning of the movie, they keep cutting away to her and her daughter grows up and eventually becomes ill. So she seems a little preoccupied with this in the beginning of the movie, while all of these giant eggs start landing all over the planet. There are 12 of them. They're UFOs, they're from another planet, and the military and all the different countries are scrambling to figure out why they're here, so we need to communicate with them. So what do? They hire Amy Adams. Since Amy Adams is one of the best linguists in the world, she has to figure out how to talk to them. While they're trying to figure all this out, tensions are escalating all over the planet because some people think that these aliens might be a threat. So we need to find out why they're here and what they want before everybody goes World War III on them. Now, I always found the study of communications with an extraterrestrial being very, very exciting. When you think about it, that's a really cool premise, because how do you talk to an alien? How do you talk to an angel? That's an old song. So we need to figure out how to communicate with them. Jeremy Renner's a mathematician, and she's a linguist. And where do you start? You start with the concept of you and the concept of me. The concept of me having a name, Aristotle Full Throttle. Amy Adams is good in this movie as someone who is in a situation that's very harrowing because you don't know what the heck is going on, but you're responsible for figuring this stuff out. And Hawkeye does a good job. He's nice, he's likable. I've always loved science fiction movies like this. They're all about the human element of the story. It's never really about the aliens, it's never really about the technology. It's about the decisions we make and communicating with others, and when and why we should tell people certain things, and how do we understand each other. And I know I'm being vague, but I don't want to give too much away about this movie because it's really interesting and it does pay off well. Let me just say, it's not your typical Independence Day type of aliens. I felt like maybe the running time could have been shortened just a little bit more. They could have very well added some more elements, maybe another subplot, to make it more feature-worthy. But that being said, I did really like it. It's a good story, and it does take its time, but the payoff is pretty cool. This movie reminds me of a book by the late great Carl Sagan called Contact, which was later turned into a movie with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. The movie's quite good, but the book is a little bit better. I highly recommend the book because it really gets into the minutia of what you would need to start out with a common basis to communicate with another intelligent being, assuming humans are intelligent. But the results of certain elections make that a little bit counterintuitive. America. Carl Sagan used to make gold records, and I mean that seriously. There's a gold record out in space right now. He actually was involved with all of the imagery and sounds that were put on a gold record that's on the Voyager probe that's out in space really far away right now, past the Pluto formerly known as planet. And the purpose of the record is, should aliens come across it 1 billion years from now, they ought to be well equipped to decipher that message using the basic universal principles of math and physics. Unless it just crashes into an asteroid somewhere. If you want to learn more about how we came up with that message, look for a link below. I would really say the only negative I have about this movie is that it did feel like it was more of a short story than a 2-hour feature. Though it is slow moving at some points, it kept my attention the whole time because there's all these little things that sort of unfold in the storytelling that make you still invested in these characters and you want to see what happens to them and how their character arcs resolve. And when I left this movie, I felt that it was based on some source material, and sure enough, it is actually an adaptation of Ted Chiang's Story of Your Life. I left this movie with a sense of wonder and inspiration because it's atypical and the payoff is quite good. So I give this movie 4.5 froze out of 5 because I do like me some good science fiction. And last year we had Ex Machina, this year we've got Arrival. Although I like Ex Machina a little bit better, this movie's quite good. It stimulates the mind and it gives you all the feels you need to eat a whole bin of popcorn because you're sad about the election. Well, that's my review. How about you? Let me know in the comments below. What's your favorite sci-fi movie? Is there any sci-fi short story that turned into a movie that you really recommend? Because I would like to know. I'd like to see that. I also recently saw the Spanish language film Ava, and that's really good too. I definitely recommend that. There's a lot of subtitles, but if hablas español, it's totally fine. And interestingly enough, that movie has Daniel Bruhl speaking fully Spanish the whole time, and he played Zemo in Captain America Civil War. That dude is pretty multi-talented and multilingual, speaking of all these different languages. Remember, you can always help me out by liking and sharing these videos and turning on those notifications. And whether you're happy with the results of this election or not, there's still things that you can always do to help out in your community and to make sure that your voice is heard. So if you're interested in being more involved in your community, I'll leave some information for you down below. Hey, and if you're on mobile, you can now subscribe to my channel by clicking that icon on my face at the end of this video, and you can always check out my other videos right here. I'm Aristotle, Full Throttle, your bro with the fro in the know, and I'll see you later. That sounded like a question. But I'll definitely see you later. Trust me. Believe me. I'll tell you what they didn't do in this movie was build a wall between the aliens and the humans. The movie was much more inspiring than that. I'm an alien.